I'll introduce myself. I'm Kapil. I'm from Belgaum. I'm from India. Uh, I'm like totally new here as a moderator. uh, I was the one who proposed this plan to have some event or kind of thing to like cheer up in INFPs on this Valentine's Day. So yeah, we are gonna talk about self-love. Um, I hope you share your stories um and give us some um yeah. Uh, oh, why don't you start?
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, sure. I really was intrigued by this idea actually because I've kind of been on that like psychoanalysis journey for quite a while. So it's kind of like fresh for me. Um, so when I was in college, I was actually a theology philosophy major, and I took a class called Virtue and Character. And the teacher was basically teaching like what we're doing in this group with the Myers-Briggs types and the Enneagram and um, like how to achieve moral health and all these other concepts about self-growth. And it was seriously my favorite class. Um, he he basically said that his definition of love is always wanting the best possible spiritual growth for both yourself and the other person at all times. And that really resonated with me. Um, at first, I just thought, oh, okay, that just means always wanting your partner or your father, your brother, whoever that you're loving to just always make the best choices and grow. But then I found a deeper meaning when I had to start loving myself, and I realized I need to be focusing on what my spiritual growth is too. And if I don't really have a compass for how to love myself. Um, so back in about
Sorry.
2012,
Can I stop for a second?
yeah. Um, okay, so I think where I was, um, so back in 2012, I ended up getting H1N1 or swine flu as it was going around back then, and it was an epidemic. And I was young. I want to say I was 23, 24. I didn't know what was going on, but I never recovered from it. And so I ended up getting some permanent nerve damage that caused some chronic illnesses, and I ended up being bedridden for quite a while. I couldn't work for a year and a half, and even when I returned to work later, I was unable to go full time. And even to this day, it's been 10 years, I cannot work full time because of my conditions. So I've had to go on this journey of how do I connect with the world when I'm not like other people? Because first and foremost, I'm definitely weird. I'm an INFP. And on top of that, I've been dealing with major fatigue and pain and other symptoms that are hard to manage, especially in the public. So I started thinking about, okay, if love is all about wanting the best possible spiritual growth for myself and other people at the same time, what's my best possible spiritual growth? And I thought about that and I realized, well, that's what life is about. Life is about the spiritual growth. It's not about what I physically do. I mean, sure, I want to experience the world, and I get a little sad and depressed when I'm stuck in bed all day and I'm not able to go out into the world. But on the flip side, I've discovered what makes me me because I've allowed myself to self-reflect and not consider it to be selfish, but instead to consider it to be self-love. And I feel like I've really discovered some of my hidden talents that I didn't even know about until like even this last year or two. I've discovered like my ability to write. I get to do social media for my job, so I get to take photos and interview people at work and post it and engage with people. And that's just incredible because I'm not that social in reality, but I get to do it artistically and get paid for it, and I love it. And I think the coolest thing about the spiritual journey part is I'm a really moralistic person, and I've discovered what are my moral values and how can I live them. And so I ended up finding a job that is in the health industry that really fits, my journey and how I think people with chronic illnesses want to be treated. And so I get to be an advocate, and I think it's cool because I've kind of found my voice, and I've really fallen in love with having a voice. And I think getting to meet other people who don't know how to process what they're going through has given me a way to use my empathy in a way that's welcomed. Um, so I think I just kind of had to find my superpower. But I think striving for that and being really interested in my spiritual journey because that's how I love myself has led me to my superpower. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell. Thank you.
That was great, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
So you got any plans? You are married, right?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I think we're just going to go have a nice romantic dinner, maybe a movie, keep it pretty simple, but we're both really introverted, so it's nice. We're not going to do anything big.
Nothing fancy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
Angela.
Angela? Yep. Okay. Yeah. Actually, we have a lot in common, Sarah. I actually have chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. My husband's got CP, so we're, definitely part of the chronic health, chronic illness community as well. And that's also kind of what I've been kind of trying to do as far as jobs and different situations go. Because at first, you know, I I went to college for 8 years, had no idea what I wanted to do. I was just kind of like pushing, all those societal expectations and, different things like that. And I just kind of struggled. Like I just did 2 years of graphic design, then I switched to Middle Eastern studies. Me and my little naive brain thought I could possibly look and find a solution to bring peace to the Middle East. Yeah, right. Um, so then I decided that since that wasn't probably achievable, I could probably I wanted to help people heal. I wanted to be a bridge, to with other cultures. And so I went into cultural anthropology, which was awesome because like, I grew up in such a small, like, confined, sheltered environment, being part of a very strict church. And the pastor didn't really preach on love that much, so I kind of had to figure it out on my own. um, Other churches in the denomination are wonderful, but this pastor in particular, that's his issue, but he's growing, he's a person too. And so anyways, I grew up in this very confined, sheltered environment, and I was like, I just, there was nobody really that shared my interests. And a lot of people were extroverted. A lot of people were wanting the spotlight and wanting, a lot of people were all about music. And I mean, sure, I like music too. I could hold a conversation about music, but I'm not like, it doesn't consume my life. If somebody's having like an hour-long discussion on the harmonies of this chord in the middle of the verse or the bridge, like I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of doodle over here now, have fun. um, so I grew up in a very like I very much did not fit in, and all most people, they had their interests as far as like fashion and music and sports. And from Buffalo, like the Buffalo Bills fans are the most fanatic fans you can ever imagine. Like they're insane. Like it just, yeah. So anyways, I grew up just totally, you know, with a whole list of shoulds and should nots, and feeling like totally like I didn't fit in, like I was worthless. Like I would start talking and then somebody would like see like my, you know, golden child little sister walk by, oh, Rachel, blah, blah, blah. And I'd just be standing there like, okay, I guess we're done talking now. All right. Like, but I guess that's what happens when you have an extroverted little sister, especially one that's on the platform playing music all the time and stuff like that. You know, it's just the nature of things. My interests are more in art and, you know, in I guess hearing people's stories, learning about anything that's different, different cultures, anything that's the opposite of what I grew up in. So anthropology was perfect for me. You know, I met a whole bunch of other, you know, people who had traveled, experienced other cultures, other places. Everybody, I mean, half the people there were hippies. And so it was so laid back. And I felt like, you know, for somebody that was like super constricted and bullied and judged and just very, you know, I even developed social anxiety disorder. And it was exactly what I needed. And so, anyways, you know, here I am in my early 20s trying to, you know, pretty much just learn everything that I can about, you know, working with people from other cultures, what, you know, how to, you know, build bridges and foster those relationships and help refugees, help them get adjusted to life in America. Buffalo was actually at the time, it was the third largest city that took in refugees in the nation. And our entire west side and now east side is totally transformed. And you know, you just walk down the street, you see people wearing traditional clothing from whatever country they came from, and it's just the most awesome thing in the world. And the food is just, oh my gosh, like it's just insane. But so anyways, I was so into this, and I finally thought that I found my place. And um, then I got my first job, and there was this woman who was just very manipulative, and it was not what I thought it would be. And you know, I ended up catching them stealing from the company, and like, you know, when I went to say something, you know, they made me out to be crazy, all this stuff, you know. And just I was kind of shocked because I had grown up like very sheltered and with Disney and everything works out in your dreams and, you know, kumbaya. And it was kind of like a slap in the face by reality that, you know, people are not so nice and bad things happen. And just, you know, even in a situation where people are supposed to be kind and helping people out. So I was kind of thrown under the bus and, you know, kind of forced to quit. And, you know, they, you know, talked to everybody in the refugee agency community. So I couldn't really work at the other agencies. And I was kind of like SOL, or sort of out of luck for anybody who, you know, who's not familiar with the term. So and it was, you know, kind of like my first big breakup. And you know, I dated other people before him, but like my ex was my first like serious long-term relationship. And we were even thinking about getting married. And within a month, you know, I lost my best friend, my ex, and my career all in a month. And I was devastated because I had pretty much, you know, planned my entire life out. I, you know, had this I knew what my interests were. I love art, I love anthropology, I love helping people, I love learning about different places, other cultures, anything that's not the little sheltered environment that I grew up with. And it was just, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. You know, I ended up working at call centers and seeing, you know, the same thing, like people, you know, competing and throwing each other under the bus for promotions and, you know, saying nasty things or trying to make people look incompetent, you know, just all of that. And I was just so sick of it, you know, because it's just the total opposite of who I am. And it, even though I know that bad things happen in the world, to just watch it happen over and over and over again, it was just so disheartening and discouraging. And my husband saw the same thing too, and he's an INFJ, so we're pretty similar. And he kind of helps me keep me sane as far as just dealing with all that pressure. And he makes like all the sarcastic jokes and things like that. So definitely making light of it has helped along the way. And basically, I had gone through all of this, and then the chronic illness hit. So I was in Buffalo, and we were just married. I had a long-term back injury that I just had re-injured. So I was pretty much bedridden for a few months, had back surgery, was bedridden for a little bit more until it healed. And the surgery ended up triggering the CFS and the fibromyalgia. And recently I've been diagnosed with ADHD too. So I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. It took me forever to get all my work done in school. So there's that. And, just trying to find some sort of sense of purpose. Because before I put all of my purpose in a career in helping people. And the way that I thought that I would be able to do that was not at all what was planned for me and in store, even though I grew up in the Christian super strict church, like I still, I've left that since then. Haven't been back to church since, but I still like believe that there's a higher power, and it's got plans, and I have no idea what they are, and I'm kind of scared, but we'll find out what those are along the way. But anyways, I found this blogging course, and I was like, wow, like I can actually like make some income while I'm laying here recovering and trying to figure out how to live, with very limited hours that I can work, very limited mobility around the apartment. And I was going to start a blog. And so then I realized that, blogging takes a really long time to be able to actually make an income from. So I had to get another job. And I ended up at an advertising agency, still witnessed the same kind of, coworkers bickering, and, especially this one, like she was just totally, like totally wanted everything that I was like going for, and totally just did everything that she could to get me off track and stuff. And at this point, my sense of worth wasn't really in a career at that point. Like I was just kind of trying to figure out how in the world I'm going to make a living. And my husband with cerebral palsy, he's got a limited time with the amount of time that he can work. Pretty soon he's going to be on disability, and we're going to be a one-income household. And we just moved to Florida, which is super expensive and getting more expensive. And then the pandemic. So I was like, I just need to make a living. Like, I don't care if they want to play these high school games. I need to work, and I need to learn everything that I can about marketing. And that kind of led me to, get involved, and as, working at a very small marketing agency and kind of taking over when other people are sick and things like that. I kind of learned a little bit of everything. And now, since that whole toxic environment since I left that, I've been kind of just starting my own thing. My sense of worth it's not based in a career, but again, like you were saying, it's on helping people and being a good person. And there's so many people in the world who are just being so selfish and so awful, and just taking everything for themselves and pushing each other out of the way, and just causing harm to others just so that they can have their stuff. And the world, like if people would stop being selfish, that would solve so many problems. Like on a smaller level, on a large scale level, like even like Putin in Russia, like just to say that, oh, I expanded Russia's borders, and just to help his own ego, like causing so much war and death and horrible things. Like, just stop being so freaking selfish. And on a smaller level too, and at work, and just the little things that we do for people, and the little bits of kindness and helping others, and just putting a smile on somebody's face, and just encouraging somebody. It's just the best thing in the world, because like I spent so much of my life alone and by myself, and I know how it feels. And sometimes even when I'm encouraging people, like I start to like tear up and everything, because I'm more emotional than the other person listening sometimes. But as creatives and as INFPs, like we do have a voice. Like we are the ones who have a knack for the creative side, and we're the writers, the poets, the artists, the musicians. Like we actually have those platforms, and we can come up with creative ways to get messages across. And I think that that is the INFP superpower right there. And for me, like it was so empowering to just forget about societal expectations, and forget about like all those times when I was growing up, when people would just like get bored or start talking to my sister. Like I had nothing in common with them. But then when I was around people that I did have things in common with, and other anthropologists and artists, and like then I could just talk forever. And actually, with my social anxiety, this is like really good for me right now, considering the huge amount of audience that this is going to go to. So just being understood, being heard, being able to encourage somebody, like that is really what this is all about. And for anybody that's by themselves, they just haven't found their tribe yet. They haven't found their people. They just have to, keep on looking in groups and different things like that. I was alone on Valentine's Day for so many years before my husband came, and I really didn't even think I was ever going to get married. And then, he showed up at just the right time when I was super discouraged and watching my sister get married, a little golden child that everything's perfect and works out for. And, late 20s, when like, growing up, you're expected to get married so much sooner, in the environment that I was in. And so it was just so, such a pleasant surprise. And like, I had a dream about my husband not too long ago, and in it, he didn't look like his normal self. So I just thought he was like a random person. And in this dream, like there were like, a couple of coworkers that had been on my nerves at the time, and they were like being super cliquey and doing their thing and leaving me out. And I was just like, oh, whatever, I don't care about them, whatever. It still kind of hurt me a little bit. Like I still kind of wanted to be included, but I'm kind of past that, as far as life goes and caring about high school things. So, and then I saw my sister join in, and then she didn't, even like invite me or anything like that. So in the dream, I was very kind of hurt. And then there was like this like generic, like hot guy that came around, and like all the girls were like, oh, he's so cute, blah, 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 oh, who's this, blah. And I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna go here and do my thing. And then like they were playing frisbee, and he actually noticed me and tossed me the frisbee, and I was like, you actually saw me and noticed, and like wanted to include me. And I was like really shocked by that. And then somebody said, like later on, like he like would actually like help me out, like want to like, take me to like the Valentine's Day dance. It's a dream. It's really random. So, yeah. So then, somebody asked him what his major was. Oh, English and philosophy. I was like, oh, interested in the same thing that I'm interested in. Okay. And then his face changed, and it was my husband. And I woke up and I was just thinking, like, I had grown up surrounded by the wrong crowd, and in that environment, and constantly watching people be toxic, watching people be so, into their own interests and just doing their thing, not even like seeing you and stuff. Like the right people will see you. And that is the coolest thing ever, you know, and I've gradually found my friends, you know, and actually one of my best friends is from online. You know, we've got this Wives with Disabled Husbands Facebook group, and you know, she and I are both, you know, spoonies, and basically another term for chronic illness for those that don't know. And she and I are both spoonies, both with fibro, and I've got a couple other issues. She's got a couple other issues, and both of us have disabled husbands as well. So, you know, it was so perfect, and we just had so much in common, and things just worked out and clicked. So if anybody's feeling lonely, if anybody's feeling like they're not good enough or anything like that, like take your eyes off of the, you know, the people you don't click with, and just put it on your interests, put it on, you know, the directions that you want to go. Somebody once said, you better look where you're going because you're going to go where you're looking. And I think that that's very, very good advice to follow. You know, just keep on looking up, keep on looking at your, you know, your interests, your dreams, your hopes, and find people that align with that. And that will make your life so much better. So yeah, it's pretty much what I wanted to say. I mean, I wrote everything out, social anxiety with like script word for word, but I just was lucky enough to just kind of go off that for now. So yeah, if you want to have any discussions, I mean, if you have any questions, or, you know, Sarah, I know we have a lot in common.
We have a lot in common. I'm actually really surprised. I wasn't quite expecting to. I mean, I know that we have the same personality type, but there's so many more factors to who a person is. But we have such similar stories. My husband's not disabled, but I understand me being at times mostly disabled, at other times only partially disabled. I understand that dynamic, and I understand how hard it is for him to put up with me sometimes. So I can only imagine, you know, what it's like for you both to just be so supportive and loving of each other and just lift each other up and just encourage each other every day. That just warms my heart. That's just amazing. So,
Aww. Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, it reminds me of just like two old people. You know, when one person's body is falling apart, then the other person's body, you know, tends to be a little bit better. So that person takes the slack, and then it switches and keeps on switching. Like very rarely, actually, right now, both of our bodies are not really working the best right now. But you know, we just help each other out, and we're there for each other. And you know, there's different times dealing with chronic illness where you're kind of where it hits you when you're upset, or when, you know, something else happens, or you get diagnosed with something else, and it's really difficult. And I'm so grateful for, you know, my husband and my friend Kim, who's, you know, the one I was talking about from the Wives Facebook group. And you know, like she was texting me today. She's like, "Oh, I heard you know, you were thinking about going on disability. Oh, that's got to be so hard, blah, blah, blah. You know, if you need to talk, I'm here." You know, it's so sweet, you know, and just that just it really makes life to just be able to encourage people like that. It's awesome, you know.
But isn't that what life should be about? Is connecting with each other, lifting each other up, trying to understand each other's needs? I mean, I know that we're the kind of people that have that ability. We are intuitive enough to really read into that, but it seems like it's something that a lot of people don't quite grasp or understand. Like, the way to make the world a better place is to make other people better people. And if we can, you know, really engage with each other, and maybe it's okay to be in our own heads. We're going to be no matter what, but still to be able to reach out of our own heads and into somebody else's heart and just say, "Hey, I'm here, I'm listening, and you're important, and you can contribute."
Yes.
I think that's really what life's about. It's not about the money, it's not about the career. It's about creating family and connection, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I this personal saying, leave everything and everybody better off, when you've left them than they were before you came. And I think it's so important, and that's another INFP superpower, like just the creatives, the ones who bring light, the ones who encourage. Like, it's just, I really think that that's what all of us INFPs were meant to do.
Definitely.
I think we were pretty much just wrapping it up, as the video ended. Just it's our power and our duty, and it's just awesome to be able to encourage somebody else and to just bring more light into the world where there's so much darkness, there's so much garbage going on, and to just bring a smile to somebody's face, just to do a few more good deeds to help somebody, encourage them. That's just what life is all about. And that's how people make it through difficult things. I have one friend from Rwanda, and she said that her and a bunch of her friends from there were sitting around somebody's living room talking, and they're like, how in the world did we ever get through the genocide? And yeah, it was so difficult. And then they're like, well, we had a community, we had each other, and that's how we got through it. And that speaks volumes, because that's one of the most difficult things to go through in the entire world. And it was the community, and it was people reaching out and encouraging others that was able to help them get through it. So yeah, definitely, go out, shine your light, do your thing, whether it's being an artist, writing, poet, musician, anything, whatever you're interested in and good at, whatever you want to do, whatever, sparks your interest and just makes you feel alive. Just go ahead and do that and encourage people and spread some light along the way. And that's really what life is all about. You have anything to add?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think the way I view it is treat yourself the way you want to be treated. And if you want to be treated as somebody who is competent and special and worth loving and, has a superpower to give to the world, then treat yourself like that. And you'll naturally live up to those expectations because you'll fall in love with those expectations and you'll find a way to achieve it and get there. I also think that, self-love really is a reflection of how we treat other people too. So pay attention to how you treat other people. Are you interested in their interests? Are you interested in their well-being, their happiness? What makes them spark? You know, if you fall in love with somebody, maybe with a specific career path or some ability you really like, maybe there's somebody who's like an awesome musician or somebody who's, really super good at writing, and you're like, hey, I want to do that. Connect with them. Don't hesitate. Don't be afraid to. I think, most of my life, I wasn't shy as much as I just didn't really have the social energy to engage. I just wanted to observe people. And I've learned that it doesn't actually take that much social energy when you're talking to somebody who shares your interests. It actually gives you energy. At least it does for me. Which was just mind-blowing for me because I thought all people were just energy vampires, but that's not actually true. So find your people. Like Angela said earlier, you have to find people that know how to encourage you, who know how to support you, who agree with you enough to foster what you believe in. And you surround yourself with people who believe in you. It's really easy to believe in yourself, but you can't be too shy about it. And you have to just go out on a limb and just say, hey, I've got one life to live here. And I'm not an antisocial person. I actually do want to love myself and have a place in the world. I'm gonna go talk to those people. I'm gonna go to that art show. I'm gonna go to that book signing and just put myself out there. It's worth it. And I've learned that meeting my people, I've just blossomed. And it's, I can go into other social situations where I'm not with my people and I shut down pretty quickly. And I like to observe. I'll just sit back and watch, but I don't really want to talk to them. The moment I'm with my people, I'm a whole other Sarah. It's amazing. Just trust yourself. You can absolutely love yourself. You can absolutely develop yourself. If there's something that you don't like about yourself, you can absolutely change it. Everybody develops. We're all in a spectrum, and if you don't like the part of the spectrum you're on now, it's okay. You can find your way across it. So I think that's my message. Thanks again for hosting this.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
So yeah, I've turned off the recording now. Yeah. So it was really great. I think we all suffer from ADHD. So like what I'm struggling right now is I haven't been in any relationships and like this time of year, like when all your friends and all like everyone of your age is like going on dates, having this rose tea, got chocolate and all. Like you get a feeling of feeling left out. And also like you some in some cases it goes to extreme. Like you think like existential, you go on existential crisis. What will happen if you don't get anyone and things like that. So how do you fight this off?
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to go first, or?
If you have a thought, go for it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, pretty much like what I already said, just trying to take your focus off of your loneliness and your situation right now. Try developing your hobbies, even chatting online with your friends. That can really help. Or, I mean, sometimes, people actually have Valentine's Day parties with their friends. So that's also great. I mean, for me, like the first boy that ever liked me back that I had a crush on, I was 16, and he didn't really dump me because we weren't officially dating or anything, but he said goodbye 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. So me and my little 16-year-old heart, I was totally crushed, and I hated the holiday ever since. And it's just, oh, like even now, like it's cute, I have my husband, but it's not like we don't put like a huge emphasis on it, but also that's because, okay, I'm rambling now, but his father did pass away on Valentine's Day, so we celebrate like a couple days later, a couple days before. This year we're going to celebrate on the weekend coming up. So, but I spent, oh my gosh, I didn't get, my husband didn't come on the scene until I was 29. So every single Valentine's Day from the time I was 16 to 29, except for that one Valentine's Day that I was in the relationship with my ex, it was just sitting at home by myself, like watching my sister and her boyfriend at the time and my parents all leave the house, go on their dates, and me kind of just sitting at home twiddling my thumbs. But that's, for me, when I was in church, I would, look to spirituality and read my Bible and things like that. And when I wasn't in church, I would focus on just kind of watching my favorite shows, a comedian, one of my favorite movies, get some snacks, some ice cream, some chocolate, and just take my mind off of it and try to just focus on more empowering and encouraging things. Because if you keep on looking, at the things that you don't have, you're going to be, upset. But if you, just remind yourself that you haven't met your person yet and that better things are yet to come. and that you're going to, all you have to do is focus on yourself for now, and the right person will come at the right time.
I think she's exactly right. I mean, I've been married for 15 years now, so it's been a little while since I've really been in that situation, but I do remember having Valentine's days where I wasn't dating anybody. And I think for me, I just decided to view it as not Valentine's Day specifically, but a day to just celebrate my friends, or even myself. I remember one Valentine's Day where I think I just went out to my favorite restaurant alone and I loved it. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I ordered my favorite dish and I ate it and I just had a great time. And I just connected with myself and I didn't feel ashamed because I chose not to. I think I really had to get into the mindset of I like to be with myself. I need time to myself to recharge and I'm going on a date with myself. Why not? Um, and I think I also think that if you can practice really enjoying being with yourself, that will translate into a relationship when you find the right person. And that person will enjoy being with you too, because you'll both be comfortable just being your own unique selves together. So, I mean, view it as an opportunity to just practice self love and getting to know you and what you need, what you want, what you're hoping to find in a partner, but keep it about you. And that's great. I think this is like the golden opportunity for you to learn how to love yourself. So happy Valentine's Day.
So that was really yeah. Most of us whenever we on a date, we get really frustrated and lose ourselves. We
Yeah,
stumble on and overshare and stumble upon things. So once you get practice of being with yourself, yeah, it really gonna help in the long run. I think
I
that's a
think
really
so.
great one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it. I think. Let's wind it up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. This was a great
And
conversation.
Yeah. I love getting to know both of you. This is great.
I wasn't
Yeah.
much of a help. I wished admit here. Mm,
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, yeah,
okay, so
absolutely.
um, uh, I'll tag you in when posting the real thing. Uh, it sound is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay then. Chalo, bye bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Take
Thank
care. Thank you.
You too. Take care. Thanks.
you. Bye.
Bye.